Hello, I'm Kelly and welcome to my Flosstube channel, Animal Instinct. It is still Friday the 30th of August 2024 and I'm back again. I've had my coffee, I'm suitably caffeinated and I'm ready to share with you today my fun plans for stitching in September and October. I guess to introduce this, if you're new, I have had a whole pile of spooky-ish themed cross-stitch projects in October 2022 and 2023 with Jo from Witchy Stitchers. We started 5 in 2022 and 10 in 2023. I'm not going to keep that trend going this year. I've decided to work on my existing projects. I do have a couple of new starts planned as well though. And then when I was looking through them, I decided that 1 month, October, wasn't going to be enough. So I thought I would start my spooky stitching in September and carry on through October. So I've got a whole 2 months dedicated to these pieces. I'll show you them in a moment. So I've decided today I'm going to share them almost like a little mini whip parade. Some of them I've worked on this year, I think. I can't actually remember. Most of them I haven't. So we'll go through them all, have a look. And then at the end, I have put them into a wheel on the Tiny Decisions app. I haven't used that app in ages. The first time I used it was back in 2020 during May when I did Whip Mania. And I worked on a different project every day in May and I spun the wheel to pick which one. I don't think I could do that anymore. So for the next couple of months, I think I will commit to working on each piece for at least 2 stitchy sessions. That might be anywhere from an hour through to, I don't know, a 6-hour block or something on a Sunday afternoon, evening, if I get lucky. So yeah, I think I can make some fairly decent progress. I think there's only one I can really finish, but you never know. You never know. But let's go through the pieces now as they are, and then we'll find out what is going to be first up on Sunday, which is the 1st of September. Of the 15 previous starts, I have finished 3 of them, so that takes me down to 12 projects. I did have another start on the 1st of November last year and it fits the theme, so I've added that one in, so that brings me up to 13. And then I'd like to have 2 new starts, which takes me up to 15. So we're back to 15. We'll see if I can bring that number down. I'm not sure. So the first piece that really kicked everything off, I think, was Silhowitches Quaker by Teresa Kogut. And Jo gifted this lovely pattern to me. Thank you, Jo. And I think that got us talking about, you know, then what happened in the last 2 Octobers, starting all the things. So it's a really fun design. Certainly when we got this pattern, it was only available as a paper chart, so I don't know if that's changed. Would be great if it was PDF, but yeah, so it's a paper pattern. And I'm stitching it on this beautiful 40 count linen from Seraphim Fabrics called Bee's Knees. And you can see it's kind of gold with like a maroonish tinge through it. I think you can see that okay there. And that is my start. So I'm using Silks For You PR070. It's their black. And you'll hear that quite a bit in these pieces. I've got a hank of it, so pretty much if it's not full coverage, I'll pretty much substitute that instead of 310 DMC. And then there's that green in there too. And initially, I found this when I was pulling it out. Initially, I was thinking about using this really bright green from Silks For You, but I decided it was a bit too leery. So I toned it down and got this variegated DMC, which is 4045. It's a really nice, yeah, green mix. So that is the first one. Next up is the Halloween Crystal Ball by the Tiny Modernist. I think this was a mystery stitch along in 3 parts. Didn't start it, like started it well after that finished. And I'm stitching it on 18 count Picture This Plus Ada called Shale. I don't tend to buy a Picture This Plus anymore just because there's so many great options in Australia these days. So this fabric was bought quite a few years ago before we had lots of options here. That's what I've done. And I did write down I'm at 13%. I know Jo has finished this one, so I'm a little bit behind. Do I have the threads? Yes. So it's called for fancy threads, and I've only decided to use 2. The rest are DMC. And to be honest, like this is Weeks Dye Works Pumpkin, and it's a fairly solid colour. I probably could have just used a DMC equivalent, but that's all right. And then I've also got Weeks Dye Works Moss there. And actually looking at that one probably would have worked okay. It's not slightly different, but it probably would have been fine. But anyway, I've got the moss, so I'll use it. And I've got the threads for this one in this tiny, I went through a little phase of making pouches, and this is a tiny little dinky one I made. Anyway, so that's Halloween Crystal Ball. Then we've got Halloween Wreath by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. This was another mystery stitch along. This one is on 32 count Belfast linen in Silver Springs from Colour Cascade Fabrics. This one is very crumpled. This one might even warrant an iron, which I don't do very often. But anyway, this is how much I have done. So it's the bottom of the wreath, although I think there's a big sort of bow down here to mark the actual bottom. I've done the first release and the second release, and I'm not sure where the third one is. I think I'm stitching these in the order they came out, but that might change, we'll see. It looks really good. And these ones are being stitched with Cosmo threads. So Frosted Pumpkin tend to chart in Cosmo and have the DMC equivalent. And I just happened to find that the quilt store near to where I used to live had the whole Cosmo range. Again, I've got a little stitchy pouch, or much bigger than the last one, holding the threads, and these are the Cosmo threads. I don't have a percent on that one. That one doesn't go into Pattern Keeper. It's a PDF, but I'm just marking it off manually. And then the last one from 2022 was a very popular one. It's Halloween Quaker by Lila Studio. I'm stitching mine on 40 count linen from Fox and Rabbit Design in Eucalyptus, which is this really pretty green. It always shows up as grey, but it is actually green, like a gum leaf green. I haven't bought much Fox and Rabbit linen. It's not completely like readily accessible here in Australia, funnily enough, because they're Australian. But the pieces I've bought, kind of, I don't know, like, well, that's the selvage, but one side of this is serged, and then I used my sewing machine to stop these edges from fraying. So it's a bit odd. I don't know why they're sort of partially like that. I am not stitching this with the cold for threads. I've got a whole range. This is my fancy thread holder. And there's a bit of everything. Like I can see Silks for You, DMC, Classic Colourworks, and more. in there. So at some point I decided that's what I'd be using. And I've only made a tiny start on this one. Anyway, that is what I have done. It's quite a big piece. All right, so now we're on to the 2023 starts. The first one was a Witchy Stitcher pattern, and this was a collaboration between Witchy Stitcher, who designed the pattern, Cottage Garden Threads, who dyed the threads for it, and Fox and Rabbit Linen, Fox and Rabbit, who dyed the fabric. Oh my gosh, maybe I need another coffee. It came in a little box. I don't know why I've kept the box. Anyway, I've kept the flattened box with the piece, but that is the project, the pattern. Really fun. I do really like this one. So these are the Cottage Garden threads it came with. And it came with this little coffin thread holder. Very cool. They're really pretty colours. And this is the linen, and it is fossil, 28 count fossil linen by Fox and Rabbit. Again, only there's the selvage, one side is overlocked and the rest is not. I don't quite get that, but anyway, it's fine. I'll deal with it. That is what I've done. So cute. So this is the one I think I can finish. Just got to finish the border and the two other creatures. And look at the orange. The orange is just popping. So can't wait to get back to that. The second start in 2023 was A Touch of Magic by Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This was another mystery stitch along, but we started it well after the fact. I'm stitching mine on 32 count Belfast linen from number 12 Stitch Co. And it's in Blundstone, and I really like the fabric. That is what I have done using DMC. I think that's the width of the piece, and I've done like that first sort of row, so I'll just come down and do whatever's underneath. Yeah. I was about to say that's a fun one. They're all fun. So is this next one. Next is Happy Halloween by Love for Cross Stitch. I didn't mention, I will put a summary of all of the different projects in the description box below and where you can get them from. So a lot of them are from Etsy, some of them are from like the designer's website, but I'll list all of that. Fluff. So Happy Halloween. This is on 32 count Belfast linen from number 12 Stitch Co. again. One of my favourites. And this is in Decrepit, which is a great name and just a perfect kind of fabric for this kind of stitching. And I've done the H and the A for Halloween. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It is so windy today. Anyway, hopefully you can't hear it. So in here I've got the candlesticks. So I'll start with those. There's a lot of this kind of swirly stuff all through the whole piece. That's a lot of, it's half stitches. So I will probably try and get some more of that done as well. Oh, it looks like I need to backstitch the finger to the A, the hand. Happy Halloween. And then Halloween Parade. I've got notes because there's so many similar names, easy to get mixed up. So next is the Blue Flower Happy Halloween, I'm stitching this one on beautiful 40 count linen from Daisy Chain Stitchery, and it's called Charcoal Grey. And this is what I have done so far. Very cute. So it's this one is one strand, and that is not a defect in the fabric dyeing process. That is a defect on my part because I somehow drew on it with red pen. Which I think I'm just gonna have to stitch something over that, but I'll worry about that later. Very, very cute. A cat dressed up as a peacock. All right. Next is Blissfully Unaware by Hands On Design. I think this one had, oh, I've got it here. It called for some gentle arts and some weak style works, but looking at the pattern, I decided it didn't really matter if it was just DMC, except I decided to use the called for the moon. And the black, I'm also using Silks For You, the black that I have, because I've got oodles of it. So I'll just show you that week's. It's Moon Glow. This really pretty yellowy colour. And I've just about finished stitching the moon actually. I'm doing this one on a beautiful piece of 30 count linen from the Crossed Wing collection. It's called Raven, yeah. And it was a gift from a very, very kind, generous friend. Thank you, friend. I absolutely love this fabric. And that is what I've done. So, let me just remind myself. Yeah, there's just a little bit of, like, obviously that's a bat. There's a little bit of moon here, and then there's a second bat. And then I'm on to, yeah, the rest. So it's not a huge pattern. So I'm not sure how far I'll get with that. Looking forward to working on that again. Next up is one that if you've been watching recently, I've been sharing this regularly. It's Book of Shadows by Living on the Rainbow. Now, the poor designer behind this piece has been kind of the target of copyright and like people just stealing her artwork and selling it as their own on places like, I think it's like Temu maybe, I don't know, I don't use Temu, but like online. It's just really, really disappointing. So yeah, if you want to support her, I would highly recommend having a look at her Etsy store, Living on the Rainbow, sorry. And yeah, supporting her. She's got some fantastic patterns. So to start with, I've already stitched the book covers and spine. And then I'm now onto the pages of the book. There's 8 pages. I want to do 2 pages a month. And I have done the first 2, which I've just shown in my latest Flosstube, which I filmed like just half an hour ago. There's Frankenstein and the Werewolf. I have really fun plans for fully finishing this towards the end of the year, so I need to get a wriggle on. Now this one, I will put it into my decisions app, the wheel, but I actually probably will try and get those first 2 pages done at the start of each month anyway, so I'll just see how that works with the rest of them. Okay, running out of space. Right, the next one was a Mill Hill kit. This was a 2023 start. You can see my back fence wobbling. Whoa. so this is, sorry, Ravens Mill Hill. And like any Mill Hill, comes with everything. I put the threads onto a little thread card. I have all beads. It's like quite a few beads in there. And a button. And this is what I've done. Oh, hang on. Just trying to work out which way it goes. I think it goes that way, but I'm not sure. It doesn't look right on the pattern going that way. I don't know. Hopefully I've started in the right spot. Oops. I think it's like that. I'll figure that out. And I just found in that bag some fun little black cat scissors I have. If you watched my last Flosstube, I showed the scissors I take traveling, which have tiny blades. Actually, I think these might be smaller. But I mentioned the other ones have flat blades, like tips. These are a bit pointy. There's no way I would try and take this on a plane, because also I would be sad if they got taken off of me. The other one's sort of cheap and doesn't matter if they go missing. Okay, one more from the October 23 starts, and it's Gecko Rouge Kit. And it is Black Cat by Lorna Laine. Oh, I was gonna get out. So I've finished the Raven version of this into a little quilt, like little tiny little quilt wall hanging thing. I was gonna get out and show you, but whoops, forgot. Anyway, I'm doing this one on the same as that one, and I plan to finish it in the same way. Cats are interacting. These are the colours. Reggie has something to say about that. Cats aren't liking the wind. I am stitching this one on 25 count, 1/1 full cross. Reggie, come here. And yeah, it goes this way. Kind of got weird hanging threads. Anyway, I'll fix that when I get to it. But I've made a massive start on this one. I did write it down, 1.2%. But I think that's, I don't know, I'm not even gonna try and explain. So. Now, the extra start from last year, I started it on the 1st of November 2023, and it fits this kind of theme. It's another Witchy Stitcher pattern, and it's called the Black Pearl. And I'm stitching this on a piece of 28 count opal casual linen from Chromatic Alchemy, and it's called Feldspar. And I've only done a small amount, 7%. There we go. Again, I'm stitching it with the silk, the black silk, and I might do the text in another colour. But get to that. So they're all the existing projects. Now for a couple of new starts. I am going to start, so another Witchy Stitcher piece. I wasn't a member of Witchy Stitcher's Patreon, but I did join, and I know I'm not the only one who joined for this pattern, but it is Purr. A lot of fun. And I'm going to stitch this one on 14 count Ada. It's a really dark navy. This is what came with the Red Mermaid kit that I subbed out. And so yeah, I'm gonna stitch it on this. My second new start, I can't get yet, but I believe I'll be able to purchase the PDF at I think it's towards the end of October. So it is another Lola Crow cross stitch piece, and it's called the Ghostly Ball. Pop a photo up. I just love it. Makes me think of Phantom of the Opera, and it just looks like so much fun. So that's going to be a start, yeah, whenever I can buy the PDF. I know it was a release at Needlework Market. Is that what it's called? Anyway, the recent online market where shops could order paper patterns from designers. And I prefer to work off a PDF if I can, so I'm going to wait until that's released on PDF. So that brings me up to 15 projects. I hope that's been maybe a little bit enabling for some of you. But now all I need to do is pull up the Tiny Decisions app and I will see what my first project is going to be in September. So just bear with. Okay, I've got it all lined up. I think the last time I used this, I was filming with my phone and had it pointing at my iPad on my lap. But I'm going to try just doing it on the phone today. There are 14 projects in there. I haven't put the Ghostly Ball in just because if it comes up now, I'm not going to be able to stitch on it. And actually, yeah, I haven't even thought about fabric for that, but I know I'll have something in my stash. So before my house blows away, let's have a look and see what's going to come up first. I'm going to kick off my 2 months of spooky stitching with a new start, and that is Purr by the Witchy Stitcher. So I'm going to stitch on that for at least 2 stitchy sessions, like 2 days. And then if I enjoy working on it, I might keep going on it for a bit longer, or I might come back to it later on. Because if there's 15 projects, 2 days each, that's 30 days, but we've got a whole 2 months to play with. So extra time if there's anything I particularly want to work on, or maybe work towards a finish on some of the other ones. I'm just not sure. That's exciting. Now, I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do a vlog style update where I film every few days after I've put in the one piece away and then, you know, starting the next one, or if I'll just do an update at the end of the month. So we'll just wait and see. But I'd love to know if you've got any plans for any sort of spooky themed stitching, or any sort of the stitching plans for the next couple of months. Let me know. I love hearing everyone's plans. And until the end of September, happy stitching. See ya.